When you're shopping this holiday season, remember to spend money at your local independent video game store. They are important and worth saving. Joystick. Local independent retro video game stores are a lot of fun and they're endangered. If you care about retro video games, then you should care about them too. They offer unique experiences and they're a vital part of the retro gaming community. There are two big threats that independent game stores face: competition from online auction marketplaces and the out-of-control retail theft epidemic. I'll also go into what you can do to help. How you choose to spend your money absolutely matters. Your choices have major ethical consequences because it impacts real-world people, and it is the biggest direct way that you can help shape entire economies. If you like collecting and playing retro video games, then you need to do what you can do to support your local independent retro video game store. That includes going to your local game shops and spending your disposable income for retro games there, instead of shoving it down the giant internet online money hole. It's better to have a game collection that you are proud of how you got, in addition to what you have in your game collection. Your money matters a lot more to small, independent retailers than the billionaires that profit from giant online retailers. Reasons to support local game stores. Selection. Local game stores often have a wide selection of games, including rare and out-of-print titles. You're gonna find things there that you can't find anywhere else. You can see the stuff that you are considering buying with your own eyes, and you can touch it. You can see the systems, accessories, and games that you have only heard about. Browsing. Going to them is a journey and a sensory experience. Browsing games is really missing from a lot of online shopping experiences. If you go to a local store, you can actually see stuff that you didn't know that you wanted. There is so much about retro games to learn, and there is so much that you don't know that you don't know. Seeing something in a shop can spark your curiosity and help you discover the next hidden gem game or game system that you want to get into. Curation by real people. You can get recommendations from people who know a lot and actually care about games. Local game stores are owned and operated by people who are passionate about video games and care about selling them. Great customer service. Smaller independent stores often have freaking amazing customer service because they are run by real people who care. I've had places make sure that the batteries and cartridges were replaced and everything on sale there was in good working order. I rarely have had any issues, but if I had any issues, many times they made sure it was made right by being swapped out and refunded. Repairs and mods. Many local game stores offers repairs and mods for video game systems and accessories. In the past couple of years, I've had the following repairs and mods. My Game Boy Color from Japan had a bad audio transistor and speaker. My AV Famicom needed a mod to work with the US Nintendo Zapper. My GameCube system needed a laser replacement and adjusted. My Sega Genesis Mark II system had a cracked and unreliable solder from the AC adapter to the system. My black Sega Sports Dreamcast needed a new power board. My Famicom disk system had a busted drive belt and needed calibration. All of these repairs and mods were done for me at 3 different local gaming shops around Portland, Oregon. It has been a huge benefit to have my existing systems kept in good working order and kept out of the landfill by having a place to have some minor local repairs done. This is only going to get more important over the years as more capacitors, disk drive, and components that make up original hardware fail from use or age. Less chance of getting bootlegs. None of the local retro game stores that I shop at would ever consider stocking or selling bootleg games. Even then, it is infinitely easier to spot bootleg cartridges at local game stores than online. At a local game shop, you can check the boards in a cartridge and inspect the case and connectors. You know exactly what you're going to get because you can actually see it. Pink Gorilla Games in Seattle even sells a kit to help identify bootlegs called the Bootleg Buddy Kit. And it's also pretty handy for opening up and repairing carts and systems. Trying things out. You can often try out games and systems before you buy them at a local game store. I am more willing to spend money buying a game system from them because I know it was tested and works. Be a part of the retro gaming community. Local game stores are a great place to meet other gamers and learn about games. They're a place to go to and actually find people who are into your retro gaming hobby. What you can do to help. Spend your money at a local game store. I know that sounds simple, but it really makes a heck of a big difference. Even if you can find a game slightly cheaper online, consider buying it from a local game store instead. If you have $100 of disposable income to spend on video games, it's going to make a big difference if you spend it at a local game store. Their margins are shockingly thin, and that $100 can make a difference between them being profitable for a day or not. Call your local game store first before buying online. Call your local game store to see what they have before ordering something online. I'm not saying never order games online, but it can be well worth your time to call local game stores and see if they have a copy of a game in stock. I would rather enjoy the instant gratification of going to a local game store and buying something than having to order it online and getting it shipped to me days or weeks later. Buy your physical games from a local indie game store. If you're into buying new games, buying a physical copy isn't enough. If you can, you need to buy it from an actual small retailer instead of just ordering it online from the publisher or from Amazon. Your money is just a drop in the bucket to Amazon, but it can make a big difference to a local small business. Why eBay and other online marketplaces suck. Full of bootlegs. It can be next to impossible to spot bootlegs on eBay and other online marketplaces. Some sellers will post pictures of legit cartridges and then ship you bootlegs. If you are skeptical that high-quality bootlegs are a real problem, then take a look at all the bootlegs for Pokemon and Earthbound on AliExpress. If you're going to buy reproduction carts and bootlegs, then just do it direct from AliExpress and cut out all the middlemen on eBay. There are reproduction cartridges and boxes produced in China that are marketed as such, and everyone knows that they're repros. And then there is stuff that's designed to pass for original cartridges, and they're designed for scammers to con people with. There's a real chance that you might get one from an online auction. They don't care about selling bootlegs. eBay and other online marketplaces rarely take action against the sellers of bootlegs. They simply do not care since they're still getting paid their cut of the profits from each online sale. They sell broken systems. When I started getting into physical game systems again, I bought a Genesis Mark II that would randomly cut out online at Goodwill. It would have been cheaper and faster if I bought a system from a local game store that was tested. A lot of the online auction systems sell systems and games as is, and you don't get a chance to test it or return it. Prices are not realistic. Prices on eBay and other online marketplaces are often quite inflated and unrealistic and are not marked down for poor condition or wear or tear. In the past couple years, there has been a steady inflation of retro game prices between eBay and price charting, and it's one of the reasons why I prefer to collect Japanese games. Outlet for theft. Stolen items are often sold on eBay and other online marketplaces. Quite often, Facebook Marketplace is also full of people selling stolen items that they stole or bought. Being a fence is also scummy and illegal. Don't give them your money. What you can do about theft. There's shockingly little what we can do, but I want to do what I can. I'm going to write my local prosecutor and let them know that I'm concerned about retail theft targeting retro video game stores, and there doesn't seem to be any progress. Past problems in Portland. In the past 3 years, I have heard first-hand accounts of several local game stores being broken into and having their inventory looted by thieves who knew exactly what the expensive items were and had their expensive cases emptied out. I've heard of a large group of thieves rolled up in a stolen rental van and took every single boxed NES game the store had in a case. People asked for expensive consoles and games be taken out of cases, and then they ran off with it, knowing that they were unlikely to be caught and prosecuted. I've heard of some thieves stealing expensive items and threatening the staff with physical violence when they try to walk out with it, and then return days later to threaten the staff again and steal more. I have gone to stores to buy a Sega Master System only to find out that it was stolen during a prior break-in. Collectible competitive card games. Collectible competitive card games are also a major target of theft, and there's probably a criminal group in the Pacific Northwest that have been targeting stores that sell Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon cards. I bet those thieves that do this also have fences lined up to sell their stolen items to. The level of violence has also been increasing as Pink Gorilla Games in Seattle was robbed at gunpoint by an individual who demanded that they hand over all of the cards and empty the register. Why theft is a problem for small business. It adds up to stores not having items to sell and having all the money and time that they invested into their stock by having paid staff to clean, process, price, and display the games and consoles that just got stolen without them having a chance for them to sell them for a slim profit. Insurance sort of helps, but many games can't be replaced, and there is a very real risk that game stores are going to have their insurance rates raised to the point that they can't afford them. The profit margin is sometimes razor thin, and small businesses can't afford to stay in the red or take on additional debt. God knows rent is not getting any cheaper. There is the very real possibility that repeated theft can choke off small businesses. Contact your elected official. Let them know that you are concerned about the increase in theft targeting retro video game stores. Write your local elected officials and let them know that you support local small businesses and that you want to see progress. I am a taxpayer and I care about what happens in my city and state. The county prosecutor, mayor of your city, and county sheriff are all elected officials and they care about getting reelected. You can look up your county prosecutor online and write them, call their offices, or schedule a meeting with their staff. Be brief, polite, and to the point, that you are concerned that retail theft targeting small businesses is not being prioritized and prosecuted. If enough people act as advocates for their local small businesses, hopefully the elected officials will make it a priority and tell the law enforcement agencies that they oversee and fund with taxpayer revenue to do something about it. Local independent video game stores are a valuable part of the gaming community. When one closes down, it is a loss for everyone, and once they are gone forever. There are several great local video game stores in or near Portland, Oregon, where I live, and I am concerned for their future. If there are any good retro game stores in your area, I encourage you to do what you can to support them because they are supporting you and your retro gaming hobby. This video is quite different in tone from many other videos that I have in the works, but I welcome you to check back next week for new videos. Please consider liking this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you will be informed when a new video is released. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome. Play retro.